kind of a growing 800-pound gorilla in the room, and that's the Middle East conflict. What do you think it may do to prices, to the economy, to your business?
Yeah, that's a great one. It's a little hard to tell at the moment, honestly. I mean, I think that obviously there's been some immediate impacts in a variety of different commodities, oil being one, obviously. And I think that it will be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't foresee that there'll be any good economic impacts out of a conflict in the Middle East, right? I think that ultimately, hard to say. I mean, depending on how long it goes for as well. I mean, I think that militarily, maybe you can look at the base here from an economic perspective and understand that will be, there are aspects of that are good for the economy here in the U.S., but I feel mostly for people in our positions and OEMs and other aspects associated with ag and construction, I don't foresee it having a positive impact.
How has Manitou had to change in the face of tariffs and tariff threats?
Yeah, that's we're struggling like everyone else, I would say. Well, maybe struggling is the wrong word, but it's something that is difficult to handle on a regular basis when you're never really sure what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Uncertainty is difficult to deal with. It certainly would be easier if we had a very clear path to what the tariffs looked like, how long they were going to stay, how they were going to be imposed, things like that, right? I would appreciate a plan around those kind of things. I mean, I am all for bringing manufacturing back to the United States. I think that's a great goal, and I think that's what we should be achieving. I spent my life manufacturing in North America and selling in the U.S. and North America, but I think it's something that would be better achieved with a structured plan over a period of time, right? So because it's difficult as a manufacturer, it's difficult as our suppliers are struggling with it. Where should they supply from? How should they supply us? How do the tariffs impact us? It's even, we have factories here in the U.S. and we're building machinery here in the U.S. and the tariffs still impact our cost structure based on having to import certain components that are not readily available in the U.S. today to us. So it's a cost adder, and it's something that we deal with on a daily basis, and we do our best to work our way through it. But it is certainly a challenge to our business, there's no doubt.
You are a veteran leader. I'm not calling you old. I'm just calling you a veteran leader. I mean, Skyjack, Morbark, and now Manitou. How has the equipment industry changed during your tenure?
That's a good one. I mean, I think it's changed maybe more technology than anything, right? I think that we, at Skyjack, I struggled a little bit with moving from products that were simple and reliable, and I don't want to turn this into a Skyjack ad, but we didn't have a lot of technology in our equipment, and we had to adapt and move into a new world. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're trying to achieve different tasks, like either moving earth or putting people in the air or giving access, those things still require kind of the structural components that are probably very similar to what they were when I started in this industry, right? But I think that the way that they're controlled and the way that the logic around them has probably changed the most, and how we integrate that and how we use it to make products that are more efficient and allow a greater degree of productivity in a safe manner. I think those are the things that have changed.
Now, kind of building on that, during your leadership of these companies, what's been the biggest challenge or the biggest surprise that you've encountered as a leader?
I would say that the biggest challenge probably was the thing that I don't think any of us were really prepared for was COVID-19, obviously, and the changes that kind of immediately put onto the structures of everything around the globe. It was just a strange thing to have to lead and manage your staff through. And then following up with the supply chain shortages that were associated with that. I would say that period from 2020 through to 22, 23, that was the strangest period of my life as a manufacturer, because it was the uncertainty was there every day, it seemed, and it was difficult to work our way through. And I think we got through it, and then the tariffs that you mentioned kind of landed upon us and gave us another level of uncertainty. So.
It didn't get much of a breather there.
No. I feel like since 2020, business has been very chaotic and uncertain. Right?
Okay. Now, Manitou has become much more visible and more aggressive in North America in recent years. And what is the goal? Is it to bring more categories here? Is it to manufacture more here? Where does Manitou want to be in North America eventually?
Yeah, so Manitou is an American manufacturer, and we want to make sure that we stay that, right? We're building telehandlers, we're building skid steers and compact loaders and articulated loaders here. And we want to continue and build upon that base. So we do want to be an American manufacturer. And I think that regionally, looking at the globe, so the American marketplace, the North American marketplace, is still one of the biggest marketplaces for equipment to go into. And so we would like to have our fair share of that marketplace, and we'd like to do what we need to do in order to capture that. And I think that the strategy short term is to continue to import some products and build some products here and meet those market objectives. But I think as we grow, I think as a whole, I think Manitou will be more regional, and that's what the new structure that we've just entered into at the beginning of the year is really about, is allowing the regions, the 3 regions that we've divided into around the globe, to control their own destiny to a better perspective. So.
Now, when you say 3 regions, are they going to be responsible for, or not responsible, are they going to be able to request the type of products they need?
Yes, I think that's the goal ultimately, right? The goal is of those 3 regions, and I think the opportunity in North America is one of the things that drove that, is that to allow those regions to meet their customers' needs as they are in those regions, and they differ region to region. I mean, some of the basics are obviously there, but as you noted, there are product differences, there are product category differences, there are different products that we need to make available in different regions. And yeah, so I think that we will have the opportunity to control that destiny as to what we're going to supply into individual regions. And in some ways, globally, things are very similar, and we will have similar products, and in some ways there will be some things that are very specific to regions or countries within the globe.
Might we see some new categories for Manitou, or Gale for that matter, in the U.S.?
I think that's possible, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think that right now my job is to understand what we do today, how we do it, and how well we do it, and whether we can improve on that. And I think, again, my philosophy is always to make our customers at ease and make the relationship with them and everything that we do with and for them very simple and easy to be contacted and have a resource that's very reactive. That's always been my philosophy. So I do want to, outside of the equipment, I want to make sure that the organization is focused on meeting customer needs, and part of that is product as well, and product categories that make sense in the US and work for people here in the US and Canada as well.